This is Stef Renee, and we are here at WURD Studios with another edition of WURD Backstage. And today we are very pleased to have an opportunity to speak with Teyonah Parris. She is the star of the new Spike Lee feature, Chi-raq. Hello, Teyonah, and welcome to WURD.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you.
Well, I tell you what, I've been thinking about some things, particularly because you are representing the youthful glow of what's happening in Hollywood now. And I got a meme that I posted on my Facebook wall yesterday that said it's been 23 years since the release of Spike Lee's Malcolm X. So, you have come along at a time getting a chance to work with in Hollywood where there has not been a time without Spike Lee since you've been born, and now look at you as starring in this latest piece. What has it been like to kind of make this journey?
It's really been amazing, Stephanie. Spike he's such a visionary, and he's been such a huge part of our community and telling our stories. It's really been a dream come true. I'm still pinching myself like, wow, did that really happen? And I'm happy the answer is yes, it did. And just to work with all of the people that he brought onto that project, Angela Bassett, Samuel L. Jackson, Wesley Snipes, Nick Cannon, who I play opposite of, so many people, Jennifer Hudson, Harry Lennox, I could go on and on. It's really, really cool, and just to work with that caliber of talent and people who are so passionate about what it is we're trying to do and the message we're trying to get out here. It really is an honor.
And let's talk about the journey professionally, because you are Juilliard trained, and it's important to note that we've been able to see recently, even here in Philadelphia, from the music side. Wynton Marsalis was just here. Christian McBride has a show here this weekend. John Batiste was here recently.
I love John. Oh, sorry, the mic. I love John. We were at school at the same time.
Yes.
So proud of him.
And so, and now straight out of Compton earlier this year, Corey's a Juilliard grad, and here you are. So there's something to be said for the fact that we are now being really inundated with all of this amazing black talent that has come through the formal training of a school like Juilliard.
It's really cool. And then for you to name people who I've been to school with. So we were all in the thick of it, in the grind together, and you never know what's going to happen. We're all told no way more than we're told yes. But I think it is really exciting that there's so much talent, so much talent being celebrated and given a platform to express itself, because it's always been there. It's just a matter of getting the content and getting the right creative platform for us to get out here and showcase what it is we can do and tell stories and all of that good stuff. So yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time.
Indeed, and especially this story, right? So we hear Chi-raq. We know about the gang violence that has taken place in Chicago, and that's the backdrop of this story. Yet, as Spike is prone to do, he's taken a classic by Aristophanes, Lysistrata, which I've heard about a lot and seen one stage rendition of it.
Okay.
So it's wonderful to see now how Spike is layering these stories on top of one another. Describe in your own words what it's like to take a classic and give it a modern urban twist.
That's certainly what we're doing here. Lysistrata, the ancient Greek play, it deals with the women of that time, over 2,400 years ago, doing exactly what we're doing. They pose a sex strike to get the men to end the Peloponnesian War. And we do the same to get the men in the south side of Chicago to stop the gun violence and all of the craziness that's going on down there. So it just putting those two worlds together, it's crazy that it's still such a relevant topic. Like, that was written centuries ago, and we can still literally pluck it from its origin and make it relevant now. What does that say about what we're doing as a community, for humanity? Like, where are we? Have we grown? It's crazy that that's still it's still so potent, even this far removed from its origin. But yeah, I mean, and Spike takes it and he puts his Spike Lee's joint stuff on it. And I think it's really going to resonate with people. And ultimately, I hope people talk about the message. Aside from all of the aesthetics and, people are getting all up in arms about things that I don't think are as important as the actual message we're trying to spread, which is there is a huge issue here. We need to address it as a community.
Yeah.
And by community, I mean as a nation. And start from government down and from the community grassroots up and deal with some really huge issues that are happening. And it starts by starting the conversation. I think Spike, he's been doing this for a very long time, and he knows how to get people talking.
Yeah.
And I think that's certainly, that's a step in the right direction. And hopefully coming up with some solutions as to what we can do.
Right. Well, Philadelphia certainly understands the plague of, violence in our communities, and we're very concerned about that. And I think it's important that Spike has chosen a vehicle with the ensemble put together for this is extraordinary. And there are lots of different angles that people can come into this as fans or just as the curious to see how you all restage this story and talk about it. I saw the CBS Sunday Morning did a feature piece on Jennifer Hudson. And of course, as a Chicago native and someone whose family has been the victim of the violence, I know this was very personal for her. As you all were moving through the story, I know that, it was shot on scene, and there were a lot of community people that were around kind of observing this. What was it like for you to tell this story with the city as a backdrop and interacting with people who live there every day?
I don't think we could have done it any other way. Spike made sure, we worked in partnership with Father Michael Pfleger. He's a Catholic priest down in the south side of Chicago, white man with a predominantly African-American congregation, and he's really been a pillar in championing this into gun violence and giving the young people down there alternatives to being out on the streets. So we worked very closely with Father Michael Pfleger, and he introduced us to some of his organizations like Purpose Over Pain, which is comprised of mothers and just men as well who have lost family members to the gun and gang violence down there. And they were so supportive of us, and just hearing their stories, sitting there having a mother tell you that her son was on the church steps bringing in drums, never been a part of gang violence or gun, none of that, and was just shot down right there. You can't help but be affected by it. And for me, it was certainly motivation to do my best in telling this story and getting this message out and just trying to be a part of the solution. Even though we don't know what the solution is, we have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, well, I know that's a heavy subject, but let's bring it back to the joy of where your career has been going recently. People who are, looking at your time and your talent and everything that you've been contributing to what we've been watching on the large and small screen, from Mad Men to Dear White People, and now this star turn. What's next for you on the wish list, if there is such a thing?
There is such a thing. I can check off, full of gratefulness, work with Spike Lee, that's for sure. The next thing I want to do, I like to stay in this indie world. Dear White People was indie. Chi-raq is indie, because you can say a lot more, and you have a lot more freedom, artistic freedom. And I both of these projects have been really amazing to work on because they are messages that I'm also passionate about. So I like to stay in this kind of world. I would also do, like superhero kind of thing. I want to play that. That's like fun.
Yes.
And you get to run around and kick people's butt. I would love to do that. But something where the character is a little more raw, gritty. You really watch someone have to find themselves. They lose themselves completely, and then a journey to find themselves, or not. Maybe they don't find themselves, but something a little more raw like that. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, we wish you nothing but continued success with
Thank
everywhere where
you.
you're going with your career. Thank you for stopping by WURD to help
Thank
share
you.
some of your story with our listeners and our viewers.
Thank
And
you.
hopefully the next time you make it back to Philadelphia, it will be in one of those superhero films or something else, and we can do this again.
Absolutely. Check out Chi-raq December 4th in theaters. And yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.